Hi everybody, time for an update. As you might know, last week we did, together with the publisher, the architecture and accuracy update, which was quite big. This week, the Falconeer is free on the Epic Game Store from the 4th till the 11th of July. So go try it out with a controller or flight stick, because that game's really not made for mouse, but okay. But I wanted to show you actually the new update I've been working on, and due to delays on architecture and accuracy, I've actually been working on this for quite some time, and it's becoming quite special. There's lots to see, so I want to take you in-game and have a look at it. So here we go. Oh, we're still loading. One of the things you're going to notice is that the start screen is different. So why is that? I noticed that in a lot of the game photography and videography I see online and on Twitter and stuff, people like to take screenshots that are really low inside that ground fog. But the problem with that was that the ground fog, it wasn't accurate mathematically when the camera was in there, and it looks kind of janky up against the sky. So I've kind of changed that, and that got me off changing some of the colors and gradients, making the night look more nightish. And thus I ended up with making the home screen blue, which is just fun for an update to do. Before we get into the update, which is called Naval Command, that's a working title, because like I said, it might be called differently because, it might not cover the load properly. I want to take you in some of the more general content. So one cool thing that got added. So most of you will know that you can make curtain walls. That's a term you guys came actually up with, actually. It's when you make a wall underneath a sky bridge, it becomes straight. Hey, but now we have a new type of wall for that. That used to be just the same old wall that came out of here. Actually the I don't know which one it is. That I want to show you. I think it might have been that one. Look, with the little roofs. But now it's this one. And I don't know why. Like always. Oh, because there's the tower in here. Whatever is beneath it, everything changes. But let's see if we can make another. So this is another one. Based on what's underneath, it changes. So it's a lot more beefy. Actually, I'm above what should be the right height. Yeah. So that's one, but that's for fun. If you build it out from the stone tower, you get a different one. Look, I'm calling these Roman arches because they're fun. So that's an entirely new way to mess around with curtain walls. Make them a little bit more official. They have their own art. They're also thicker. The other ones are much more thicker. Cool new thing. Let's see how that looks in a settlement. Because it does add actually more than you would think. I forgot to show you something. Oh no, let's go back. I've messed up my city here because I've run out of iron. But you can see some of the curtain walls. They're here. They're in between there, and it offers just a nice, solid. And you can see how thick they are compared to the other walls. See, here's a regular one running down, and it's a proper defensive wall. So that's cool. I wanted to show you something else though before we get into it. So it has curtain walls. That's a little thing. Let me reset this scenario. There's a new game mode. It's called Total Conquest because of copyright issues. I couldn't call it Total War. So it's not that anybody mentioned, but Total Conquest is fine. When you enable it, I'm not going to do that right now. It means you start off at war with everybody except your own faction and the Free House faction. You get a commander and a combat captain for free at the start of the game. And you'll have to survive while everybody's attacking you. They won't, sue you for peace. You won't be able to talk to them, except those of your own factions. Try to survive the world as you grow. It's very better now. I haven't tested it. The waves will be faster, stronger. There will be there'll be the settlements individually. We'll show you on the map because I'm at war in this set. War itself has been added a little bit. Now, if you go get a war, these settlements, which each have in their makeup a commander or command tower HQ, which you can find, will spawn their own type of units from a logical place besides the big raids. So they'll come at you from different levels. So that's an advancement which you will have in the Total War. And in the main game, there's a softer version of that. So I'm just going, because I'm showing too much. You can see a few things. You go, hey, look, Thomas, there's new question marks. So these question marks, here's a question mark on the map, and there'll be more when the final version comes out, hopefully. These are mostly outposts and refugees, but rather than having them random spawn, which made some people complain, oh, I'm only getting the pirates, or where do I find these? They're now fixed on the map. Also makes exploration more fun, because I've tried to design them coolly. You can go out and you can buy them for splinters. So they are there, they'll never go away. If you can't afford them, you can come back. And they're like slightly less random. Makes the world feel a little bit more alive. And as you'll note, there's another, if you remember those, the single gun tower, which everybody thought really useful, there is another thing that you can find. Let's see if that's not a settlement. And these are called ancient fortresses. These are immovable fortresses. You can't move the location at strategic places. Hopefully when you go to war, your enemies might conquer them and place them, turn them into big actual fortresses, which hampers your conquest. But you can also find them yourself and purchase them and restore them into working order, which I've done here. So this one I've made really, really ugly. So it's an entire new architecture style. So they come with, I'm still working on it. This one is coming with a missile turret. So they come in two major flavors. The fortress comes either in a point defense that's targeted at flying units, or a big gun that's targeted at low speed units, mostly surface ships. And how you approach them means that you can't send your naval forces against these guys if it's, kitted out to defend them. And you can't send your flyers out if it's got one of these missile racks. It's a bit, it's just a fun addition, especially if the enemy gets a hold of them and they start building them. You can, once you acquire them and have workers and iron for them, add to them and pimp them like you can do anything. And they have their own sort of diesel punk stylings. And beyond that, they're just a regular settlement. So these are, meant to be impressive ancient fortresses for you to buy and expand and use as a... wow, that's quite a lot of... something went wrong there. Bugs. Oh, here we go. Sometimes you see things. So that's my little... that's some content that's coming. These things are also pointed on your radar. So you see I have now 2 question marks and a diplomacy thing popping up. There's just a little bit more to do. And it makes... I intend, if I have time, to add also some more places for you to go. Just expand the world a little bit. Yeah, so that's one thing. You see, there's some other stuff on the map. If we zoom in, we can see there's units on the map. So that's used to only see some of the enemy units. You now see all your units, but they come in different colors. And where am I? I'm all the way here. I don't have any units with me. How is that, Thomas? You have units, but they're not following you. This is the main beef of the update. So, well, a new game mode, new fortresses, new ways for enemies to attack you. The other major beef is you get a new way to defend against that. And that is for each commander, you can set them to a different mode. You can set them to assault, which I've done previously. You set them to defense. If I set them to defense, she's the white birds. They'll start patrolling around your the area of that tower. So about the size of this island, basically. If I set them to escort, they'll be as, you know, they'll be like they were before. They'll just fly in formation with you and go where I go. If I teleport back, if I set them to assault, that's the fun new thing. They will go to your assault marker. And you can see the gunships there are waiting because they're also part of my assault group. And if I press the D-pad left or the 1 button on your keyboard, you see this new marker and they'll go there. See all them, the white birds, they're all heading there. While I go, so you now have 2 battle groups to command. You're the one that's tied to your surveyor or flagship, and the other one that's going their thing. You can also command them on the map, and they will go there. So you now can see them going off in distance, and they can battle by themselves. Of course, that will trigger a response. In the meantime, the enemy's done one of their waves. Actually, I've got a big settlement, and I might need to balance that because that seems like a big wave that's coming to that. And for the casual part of the game, I don't want it to be that difficult. But they're gonna attack my fortress, which I just pimped. So let's send my forces there, and we can see how that plays out. That's one thing. In the meantime, there is something else. Let's go to the map and command a 3rd group I have, which is my naval group, which is the D-pad right or the 2 button on your controller default. And you will see that somewhere in the distance there is a what I'm calling my command flagship. I haven't made that they're a group, but the intention is that it's a naval group setting off for that destination. Hopefully it won't crash into things. Yeah, it's sort of doing its thing. Let's see if it's getting lost a little bit. I'm working on the pathfinding for this is horrific. Because like I said, it's like just like other ships, that ship cannot go through the shallows. It needs to find a logical place to how it's going, and it needs to be a lot more performant. Because you see, when you make your trade routes, there's a little hiccup in performance. That's okay because you're just clicking it once and then it's fine. But you can't do that when you're, you know, constantly sailing this ship. And you can also command him from your surveyor. Go there. Go there. So next up is to do this and have a lot. Oh, we have combat. Oh, they came here. No. Shit, I misjudged that. Let's send everybody back. Oh, it's just one guy. Come, let's see if I can get my command ship to go there. And hopefully get... Ah, it's already killed by a trader. Well, like I said, what happened to that giant load? Oh, that's basically the defenders that been spotted by me. Those are the defendants of Nautilok, which I remember. It's just a big force. So that's all the map, so you can see it now. So that's kind of fun. We have these battle groups. That's another thing you can do. When you're close to your command flagship, and this is just a placeholder, it's just another steam rake. This will be a specialized ship I have yet to define. When you're close to it, you can control it like you do your surveyor. And this is where the low camera suddenly becomes really... Let's set off towards... so you can auto... And then you have this ship, which works exactly like your surveyor. Except that it can't fly and can't build, because we don't have that spatial awareness. But it's just for fighting and exploration, and it's just a fun thing. I think I'm making this... You get this when you get a new building called a Naval Command Harbor, which is probably going to be the Free House Wonder. So, look, we can actually get all this stuff, and we can also teleport via the map, and then it teleports to the nearest harbor, so it's not super accurate. But look, I like it. It's fun. It's gonna be a quirky update. It's not gonna be perfect because, you know, normally this. There's a reason I didn't do this at the start, but it's working decently well, and it gives just this whole different perspective of your settlements when you're sailing by it yourself. which I like. I like when I was playing, Silent Hunter or something. You'd be that submarine and you just follow it with the camera because it looks so cool on the waves. Um, so that is coming. That's just a little surprise I wanted to share with you. How cool that is, and yeah. So the game the Naval Command. I have no new name for it yet, but for now it's calling it Naval Command. It is applicable, but let's attack everybody. Um, that's I think that's all we have for today. Just to show you, like always, report any bugs, help me out, get the game as good as possible. Um, uh, not wishlist the game, but if you're into the game, you want to support it, leave a positive review on Steam or your chosen platform. It does help. We have to milk that. It's an experiment. It's a highly experimental game, so it needs all the help it can get as I grow it and discover new ways to expand upon it. I hope you're enjoying all the work I'm doing trying to get this game to the best possible state. Also, post-release, make it a little bit more than just that sandbox builder that it is now. Growing in having it just a tad bit more depth. It's never going to be a true RTS, but this should add a little bit more mechanics. It also adds more control to your unit, so when you're taking photographs, you can place them better and stuff like that. There's a lot of new opportunities with this, and the idea for the command flagship is that you'll be able to have that harbor, that naval command, and if you assign other combat captains to it, they'll follow this ship. But as you can imagine, the pathfinding for that is horrific, and it likely won't be super precise. I don't want it to drag the performance down and stuff like Steam Deck and stuff, where it's always calculating. Because the difference between I don't just this game's development, other games where we have pathfinding, is that if you have a fixed map, like in a regular RTS game, or a fixed environment, you can make the pathfinding pre-calculated, as it were, with nav meshes or whatever, and that'll work. But here, the environment is changing, where these ships can go. You can build bridges, that'll work, but you can also build, stuff jutting out in a deep ocean that suddenly needs to be calculated. So it's got a totally different way of calculating the path and sailing from A to B. And the simplest form of that is where I don't scan for the stuff you build and just have it go into the deep oceans. But for this, it's trying to find a trade-off where it's smooth and fast. So that's and that's it. I'd love to hear your opinions, what you think about where this is going. I think these might be the last batch of major mechanics to be added, because this is quite an addition where it adds a lot more depth to the combat and stuff like that, just by virtue of having multiple groups and managing all that and having more assaults come from different places. I haven't shown that, but that will come as well. And then afterwards, it's more content as well. Hopefully, as long as the game gets your support, I'll try to keep it alive and keep myself going. So thanks, and let me hear in the comments or on the Discord what you think.